Hi, I'm Danny,
Hi, I'm Ellie.
and we are the co-owners of Timestamp Theatre Company.
This project will contain many theatre lovers, performers, and students sharing memories of theatre and why it is important to them.
We thought this project was something to show the strength in theatre as a community.
This project is important to share because we are showcasing the theatre's path to going back to doing what we all love.
Theatre isn't just about performing and entertaining, it's about creating a connection and a safe space to escape the realities of the world.
We hope you enjoy watching this project.
Theater means a lot to me because I have been in theater since I was a child, and it gives me great opportunity to express myself, to connect with other actors and also with the audience, and to be creative.
I believe theatre is important because it brings people together, whether that's for a common cause or to literally put on theatre. You've got so many people behind the scenes that do so much for the people on stage, whether that is the play or musical. You've got technicians, obviously, who work tremendous hours behind the scenes, who are there throughout the process. With backstage sort of stuff as well, and I think it's a unique experience as well, having all these people come together to create such a powerful thing, whether that is delivering a message or just there for the entertainment. And no matter what kind of theatre you do, it's worthy and it's important to do that because it's also a good home for a lot of people, and it's a good place for people to be them and truly sort of express themselves, which is a fantastic sort of opportunity.
So I think a big thing for me and for a lot of people is that when you create a piece of theatre or you're part of a project, you really do feel connected to people, and a lot of it is about being sociable. I feel like you create this really trusting, safe space to be free, be creative, be as an imaginative as you want, and you kind of create like a little family, and it really is so nice to be part of. I think with theatre, there's not as many boundaries, or sometimes there are no boundaries, whereas other industries and like especially like in school with your different subjects, there's kind of right and wrong. But with drama and theatre, it's kind of free. You do what you want and you make mistakes and you learn from them, and you all are there to kind of build off each other, and it's just such a nice environment to be in. So that's something I've really missed. I was actually lucky enough just before the pandemic started. I think it was March 14th, something like that. So it was right at the beginning of the pandemic. I actually was lucky enough to go and see The Play That Goes Wrong. I got tickets for Christmas, and it was amazing. It was so good. And I think now looking back, I feel like I've took it for granted being there, because obviously I enjoyed it. But yeah, I wish I really like was part of it and like really understood that I wasn't actually going to be watching theatre for a little while in the space, obviously. So yeah, I think next time I go and see theatre, God, I'm going to love every second of it. Yeah, I really can't wait to get back to creating work, learning, and yeah, watching theatre again.
My name's Amelia. Hello.
I'm Maddie, hi.
I'm Declan, hi.
We are part of APTC, Alternative Perspective Theatre Company. We did a show in Canterbury Festival in 2019.
We love theatre.
Yeah, we've all been part of theatre for like a really long time.
Obviously, our company doing stuff in that
And
thing.
at uni we all did performing arts, and we were part of the end of year musicals, which we all really enjoyed.
Yeah, it was really fun.
I always think that when I talk to people about politics and about government, I always say that performing arts people should be in charge of government, because we have the most
common sense,
and we also just have more perspectives. We just like have bigger viewpoints on things. Like we have a broader spectrum, because our whole point is to be so open-minded and accept.
And to be able to think like everyone, basically, because when you're acting, obviously you have to put yourself into
someone else's shoes.
Something completely different from yourself.
And think like that person as well.
And like that is one of the great things of theatre, is that it does welcome anyone from all walks of life.
Yeah.
And it's amazing because there's always like a role out there for someone, even if you think there's never a role for you. There is.
Yeah.
Someone's written it somewhere, or you can be in charge and write it yourself. That's what I did.
Yeah, I just love how inclusive it is, and how much you can just, in a way, be yourself and create what you want, and then be someone completely different.
Yeah,
than you want to
I've never been part of a project where I haven't felt so at home to just be who I am and just like express myself in any way that I think I can.
And plus, like the best vibes I feel as well come from when you walk into like the rehearsal space. Like, especially on like the first day, you walk in and everyone's just like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
But everyone's so nervous, and then you get to talking to people,
and then you get to like
4 months down the line, and you're doing 12-hour days, and everyone wants to like
just
sleep.
cry,
sleep, mental breakdowns constantly.
Yeah, constant.
But it's such a family atmosphere,
and it's so worth it as well.
We break down together.
Yeah.
And then you look back on it when it's all finished, and you're like, I miss that. Why am I not doing that anymore?
Like the amount of times that I've said I've missed the rehearsal process more than the show. Like,
the
it's
show's
ridiculous.
so over so quickly, and you just don't ever want it to stop. This is why I would like to work on the West End.
Yeah.
It literally
Doesn't
doesn't stop.
It's a case of you kind of make friends for life as well, because you go through quite intense rehearsals with people, and you just form a bond with those people. Even if you don't talk to them for a while afterwards, you're always going to be like, oh, remember that time.
Like, sometimes theatre really can just bring you completely out of your shell, make you almost turn you into the person that you never knew you were, and you just experience so much, and you can be so vulnerable with some people that like you barely know.
Exactly. Well, I mean, like, if you think about it, like, even when it comes to dancing, you're like this close to a person at times. It's like, it's hard not to get to know them.
I think that's the main thing that I just love about a whole performance, is that although you may have rehearsed, you're put so on the spot, and that's probably one of the most vulnerable positions a human being can be in, because everyone is watching you. You have a job to do.
Yeah.
And even if you mess up that job, you still have the other job of continuing like nothing's wrong.
Exactly.
What I just really love as well is that how different it is every single night, because it's live performance.
There's never a dull
never
moment.
the same. It's always, there's something different that's going to happen, whether it's a audience member that just like sticks out for some reason, or something goes wrong with the show,
or because of that audience member, then it has a different effect on the cast.
Because that's the thing as well, the audience really, their energy feeds the performance, doesn't it? If there's a good audience who is like reacting and clapping, then everyone in the cast is going to be like, yeah.
But it's great.
It's just such an amazing experience, and if you've never been part of the show or never been involved in theatre, highly recommend.
Do it.
It is just, you can't even explain it. Just, it's such an amazing thing.
It's like if you're an adrenaline junkie and you like roller coasters and things like that. It's a similar feeling, because you know, you've just worked so hard to get to this point, and then it's like, boom, it's over in like 2 seconds.
Yeah. Oh, I miss it.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's been such a long time.
Yeah.
I want to do a musical again.
So the biggest reason that I absolutely love theater is the community aspect of it. Putting on a play or a musical or a dance piece, it all requires so many people to work on the production, whether it's the people who are on stage, actors or dancers or singers, to directors, to writers, to choreographers, to the stage hands, stage managers, producers, all of that. And I just absolutely love the fact that all of these people show up and decide to create this piece of art together. And I just think that's wonderful that everyone wants the same thing, and you don't really get that very often in the world, where everyone is working towards the same common goal. And I just think that's really cool. I also love that theater is very diverse, and that's a big topic, especially this year in 2020, is diversity within theater, and that means a lot to me. But just taking out that aspect, just the fact that we have been performing theater and pseudo theater for hundreds and hundreds of years, that we as humans keep choosing this art form and keep progressing it further and further into society with us, is just, that's really cool that we all have this inherent want to tell stories, whether you are from America like I am, or you're from Africa or Asia or Western and Eastern Europe or South America. Everyone has their own form of theater and they all love it, and I just think that is really cool.
The reason why theatre is so important to me is because it's where I hone my craft, it's where I improve, it's where I train for a certain performance or, you know, a piece that I'm doing. The reason why I think theatre is also so important is because it's so good for your mental health. You know, all performers know you leave it at the door and you come in as a mindful new person and you just get stuck into the process of what you are creating as performers or as a group. And I think, yeah, this pandemic has affected us dramatically. You know, as someone who is a graduate, I really want to pursue a career in the performing arts industry, which at the moment is non-existent or not open. And it's a shame. You know, I miss it. I want to get stuck in. But fingers crossed we'll get back there as soon as possible and be creating new stuff, because I feel like there is a new wave of creative juices flowing. You know, everyone's been put on hold, so it's had a lot of benefits as well, as in like getting portfolios ready, and maybe people writing new stuff. So we've got that to look forward to.
Funnily enough, when you asked this question, what does theatre mean to me? Listening to the Andrew Marr show, it's called Start the Week, something like that. And he was interviewing Nicholas Heitner, who used to be artistic director of the National Theatre. And he was asking, you know, exactly that question: what does theatre mean to you, and what does it mean for the country not to have any theatre? And Nicholas, I bumped into his work is just wonderful, because he always used to say about actor training that give me an actor who's well educated, give me a student rather who's well educated, and then I can work with them. So he comes from a very, you know, he's got feet on the ground, and he talked about theatre being the soul of the nation. What else? I've got a few quotes from him. Yeah, the beating heart of the nation, which reflects our soul, exploring our differences, perhaps our dark corners, and celebrating all our stories, both past, present, and future. And I just thought, well, you know, I couldn't say that any better, because I don't know if you're referencing Brecht, he used to compare the theatre to going to like a boxing match. And for me, the theatre it does have that element of a ritual where, you know, you have to make an effort, you have to get your ticket, you have to sort of dress up, even if, you know, whatever it is you do, but you physically got to commit to going. And I really, really miss that. And it's that collegiate element to it, where Cicely Berry used to say, we're all breathing the same air. So whether you've got £5 tickets standing at the Globe, or you've got, you know, the box and you've paid hundreds of pounds for it, actually we're all equal when we get into the audience. We all breathe the same air, and we're all at the same time having a unique experience, because nobody sees or hears it, the performance, because we've all got our very unique perspective on, you know, depending on where our seat is, depending on how we're feeling, depending on who's next to us, whether it's a first date or it's a school trip, you know, whatever it is. And that makes the whole experience so unique. And I miss that. Theatre is sort of wrapped around a life experience as well.
Theatre means to me that I actually get to work. in COVID right now, I can't work because I've trained to do an industry that has been shut by the government, because obviously with COVID social distancing in place, we can't run theatres apparently. So it means money to me, it means a substantial living, but also besides the traditional love for theatre, it's what I've trained for. I've trained to do lighting and sound and stage management since 2017. It's a part of me that I wish I could embrace again, and hopefully in the future, when this vaccine comes out, we should be alright to start doing theatre shows again live, and that'd be great. What else does theatre mean to me? It means having a connection with people as well. Like when you're working in that industry, you instantly have a connection with people because they're all there and all professionally equipped to have a laugh with. You can share moments like having debates about what your favourite musical is, what your favourite show is, and that sort of stuff. So
there are two questions in it for me. One is what is theatre, and the other one what meaning it has for me, deeper meaning. So for me, theatre or theatre making encompasses all the things we commonly understand as theatre practice, but it's broader than that. Making theatre means also writing about theatre, criticizing theatre, making decisions about theatre, financing theatre, because all those activities shape the art of theatre. And then in terms of what theatre means for me, theatre, and this is not, I don't want to take full ownership for it. This is something that came up from my practice as well as from my research. And it has been inspired by many scholars and practitioners. But theatre, for me, is an art that offers an opportunity for the audience and theatre makers, actors, to dream together future that or reality that doesn't exist yet, and we can dream it together as possible to achieve. Theatre is always political, because even if you don't say it's political, it always has some political underpinning and political consequences. Theatre is the art that can change the reality, that can change how we see things, that can change how we relate to things, to phenomena. Yes, theatre is the opportunity to dream. That's what theatre is.
So theatre is my outlet in two ways. Firstly is just through performing, allowing myself to portray somebody else and show my emotions in a character format. More like I find that more effective than sometimes than being myself. Secondly, just sort of going to the theatre and watching a performance is an outlet for me. It's a release. The notion of going to a theatre and watching a play seems almost unbelievable now, just because of everything that's gone on in the last few months. All these months there's almost no content because people aren't allowed to make anything. I miss everything about theatre on a personal level and on a wider basis.
Hello. So today I want to talk about what moments that gives me the chills still when I'm in theatre. And I know we're going through some really hard times, really rough times in the theatre industry and the whole world with all this pandemic. But we still have to keep the positivity alive and everything that's happening around us and appreciate every little thing. And I feel like in this year, just we realized how important even the things that we didn't realize that was important. For me, theatre is my life, I would say. I was on the stage, or I was around the theatre environments even when I was little, when I was 1, 2, when I was a baby. So I miss it so much. It feels like if theatre was not around, one of the sources of my life was cut down. And that is exactly how I feel right now, but I try to do as much as possible, even though we can't go to the auditoriums or enjoy the moment. But the moment that I really like as an actress is, and as a audience as well, you go into the auditorium, you sit down, or you're waiting at backstage, and then there is this moment where they just say, okay, the play will start now, please be seated, turn off your cell phones, everything like that. And then they all close the lights, all the lights, and there's just darkness, there is just silent, not a single voice coming out from the auditorium, from all those people, even from the actors even. And that moment just gives me chills, because I don't know, it just gives me a magical moment, and I realize how much I love doing this, how lucky I'm to be on the stage, or even on the audience. It's just so crazy when that moment of realization that you have around you, like the people, the audience, you're realizing them, you're realizing your actors, you're realizing what state you're in, and then the lights goes up, the curtains goes, rises up, and the magic begins, which I live for. Of course, there's so many things that I love about theatre, but this little moment, this tiny, tiny little moment, I think makes the magic in theatre. Thank you.
For me, the importance of theatre, the value of theatre, is as much to do with the process of making it as the actual production. I spend most of my working life persuading, cajoling, provoking students into working towards performances. And to see a dynamic develop amongst a group of students, to see them step up to a plate, to meet the demands that are being placed upon them, not just by a director, a megalomaniac director, but by their peers, is one of the most intensely rewarding parts of my job. And in the end, the production is a whole which is greater than the sum of its parts. Whether we're talking about a theatre troupe, a theatre company, or a choir, no one person within that enterprise could do what the group has done. And I think that teaches an unbelievably important life lesson. It teaches us all that it is not about us. It's about something beyond us, bigger than us. And if, in the end, the production is something that is worth watching, that an audience wouldn't regret coming to see, so much the better. But for me, the process is the most valuable and insightful and developmental part of theatre.
And I just wanted to tell you about my favourite memory. I think this is my favourite actually, because it really started something in my life that I've dipped in and out of from time to time, but now that I'm doing a degree, I realise, just how important theatre is to me. When I was about 12 or 13, I went to see Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat at the London Palladium. Now, never seen anything like that before, and I had never been to a West End show. I went because a certain Jason Donovan was playing Joseph, but what happened when the narrator came on the stage was unexpected. She had a lovely voice, just gorgeous, and she was on stage and she had some of the best songs as well, and I thought, wow, these are like really catchy and I love these. I went straight home, I learned all the words of the narrator. I thought I could do this, like this is definitely something I could do, and it really was amazing, because at my secondary school, they were holding auditions for Joseph. So I went for the narrator part. I knew all the words, I knew all the actions, and I got the part. And that opened up a whole new experience of my secondary school as well, because up until that point, I'd pretty much been struggling, and I was quite a quiet girl. So socially, it really helped me. But also I felt like I had something to give, and I was good at something, which I hadn't really ever felt at school before. So that was definitely for me one of my favourite memories. Another memory for me, or something that's ongoing for me, is work that I do with the arts and my experiences, and also my talent that I bring forward to organisations that use art to enhance people's lives. So I've been working a lot with a dementia organisation, and they use arts to enhance their lives, and the kind of escapism and the joy that these people who come to the sessions gain from this is just a wonderful thing to watch. And it's really, really important that we keep this going, and we keep theatre alive, and we enhance theatre, and we are open to new ideas, and also preserve what we already have and move things on now. And I think the theatre can do that, and it will do that, but it's really important to remember all the amazing things, both personally and in my work, that have gained from using theatre as its core thing.
Hi, and my name is Rutendo. I am a dancer in the arts industry, and theatre is really important to me because it allows me to be who I am. It allows me to express myself, and not just me, but loads of other people. I believe that everybody has some type of gift or talent that they are born with, something that they're very good at, and there should be opportunities and outlets to allow people to explore those things. Not everybody is going to be a scientist, a doctor, an optician, an accountant. Not everybody is academic. Some people are very good using their physical bodies or using their hands, and they should be allowed to explore those things. And also, as well as that, I believe that theatre is very important to society. It's a crucial part. It allows people to come together, brings people together, helps people to understand other people's perspectives of certain things, issues, topics. It also, can always be very current. No matter if something is set or was written a very long time ago, it can always be adapted to be more relatable in current time. And I believe that theatre is amazing in a way where ordinary people can go and watch something or listen to something, and they completely forget about their everyday lives. They are so engrossed in the moment, so engrossed in that space, and it just allows them to be and to really soak in everything that they're witnessing. Live theatre is amazing. Movies are great, don't get me wrong, but when you sit and you watch something and the actors doing their thing, you hear singers, percussion, whatever it is, like there's such an energy and a vibe that when people leave, they're always talking about what it was that they saw. They're always communicating about it because they're so engrossed in it. It takes them back to that moment of what they've just watched. So just to recap, theatre is important to me because it allows me and other people to express who they are, and also because I feel it's a very important part of society.
Theatre is important to me because, for just a moment, we are allowed to suspend reality and live in a world where the good guys win and the bad guys lose. Theatre is important to me because it is a mirror that we hold up to the world, a reflection of what we are experiencing and what we are going through. It tells us the truth of what we look like today. And it is so important that we continue to support the arts because they show us what our tomorrow will look like. One of the things I miss about being in a show is the camaraderie, the friendships, the people I've met over the years. It's been a very long time since we've been in the theatre, and I miss it so very much. Not only do we get to be on stage and truly get to tell these beautiful stories, but we get to be on stage and share these stories with people who are coming to see them for the first time. And that is such a beautiful thing. It truly gives us such purpose and such joy when we get to see a young child of the age of 7 hearing about a person called Alexander Hamilton who changed the world even though he looked different to everyone else. And maybe that might give someone the excitement within them, the joy and the willingness within them to change the world for themselves. And that is what I miss.
We want to thank you for watching and listening to these stories.
As we are all aware, the pandemic has affected theatre globally, and we are still fighting to get back to do what we love.
We also would like to take this opportunity to remind people that if you can or want to help in any way, please donate to Acting for Others, Theatre Support Fund or Fleabag for charity.
These charities are all working so hard to support the industry and assist our NHS in overcoming this difficult situation.
A final thank you must go to our participants in this project.
We really do appreciate you sharing your stories and reinforcing our values as a company. To be yourself, be brave and be amazing.
We want to let theatre grow, and this project, with your influence, has proven our aim and enabled our company to make theatre relevant for today. So thank you.